everything was established in the movie years. And for some reason, in my mind, the movie years group was kind of the essential core to me of the whole Elvis experience, or the majority of the Elvis
And the Memphis
life.
Mafia.
Yeah, and as far as the Memphis Mafia goes, it was definitely,
Yeah.
you know, there was a few that left. Jimmy Kingsley left, and Mike Keaton left, and Jerry came in, and Richard came in, and Gigi, and that was Patsy's first husband.
Patsy's for
Yeah, Patsy Gamble's first husband.
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I was just going to say that
No,
to
that's
me
where
in
the
my
confusion
brain.
about the Memphis Mafia.
That's
comes
about
in.
the original Memphis
It was
Mafia.
the original Memphis Mafia I named.
Mm-hmm.
Of course,
It was Alan.
right after that, you know, Red, he'd gotten married to Pat,
Mm-hmm.
Pat West and
Pat Boyd.
Pat Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
Boyd, yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, they bought a house, and he had an apartment out there.
But
The
so
original Memphis Mafia, and people, they go, well, so and so is still okay. They are.
But they're
They were
not the
called
original.
that later, but everybody was. They
Well,
had to
from
work
there
for it.
on,
Yeah.
known as the Memphis Mafia.
Yeah,
It didn't
right.
name any particular person.
Yeah, but there's.
and
but
we
when they
kept
talk
it-
about the core or ask you who were the
Yeah,
original,
the original,
I mean,
and
you
you
know,
had it when you named them.
As far as we were concerned, when anybody came into that group, they were original Memphis Mafia. I mean, it's just that,
Yeah,
yeah,
that well
just as an
known,
entity, the Memphis Mafia,
yeah.
which we hardly ever used the name Memphis Mafia. We
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
Most everybody else.
theirs was
would
just
do
the
it.
guys.
That was outsiders having tagged
yeah,
Tagged
yeah.
them.
that.
And actually,
nickname
Billy's the only living member left
of the,
of the
core.
original,
Yeah.
of the core, the first ones
First
that,
ones
that started out,
yeah.
the ones that were tagged.
Yeah,
You
But,
know, to
uh,
name.
at that original tag.
yeah.
But
There was
they, like I say, all of them were.
Mhm.
We as a group, I mean, we had a close bond.
Yeah,
As
Like
being around
brothers.
Elvis.
yeah.
And so, if one was Memphis Mafia, all of them were,
Yeah.
regardless of when they came in.
Yeah. Did somebody brought up the term band of brothers? I don't know if
Yeah.
that was just another phrase that was
Oh,
coined.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and when
They had a lot of good names too, like Leeches.
Leeches,
hangers on, yes men.
Yes.
suckers.
But you know
And
what?
I guess we were a
That's-
little of all of it, so
I
at the
wouldn't
time it
say.
didn't matter.
Yeah, I would say y'all did far more good than harm, because those are the same people that if something had happened to Elvis, or someone attacked him on stage
Yeah.
or shot at him or whatever, y'all would have been the first ones to blame, and y'all would have blamed yourselves.
Well, here's
So-
the thing about it. People want to say
That's what we look for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but people want to say, okay, they didn't do anything, or they didn't do anything to try to help him. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. Thing about it was, or why are they there? They're just there for the money, or they're. Think about it. Elvis handpicked every single one,
Yep.
and had he not wanted them to be there, they
They
wouldn't have been. Because look at Red and Sonny and Dave. I mean, those were close friends.
Lifelong
Sonny and
friends
Red were
almost.
very close
Yeah.
friends. And when he decided they were to go, they went. I mean,
Yeah.
not to say they wouldn't have ever come back,
Right.
but Elvis
And
made
Daddy went. I mean,
your daddy, Alan.
He hadn't been on the payroll in,
Yeah.
almost 10 years, but
Alan
he was
too.
still there.
And Jerry.
As a
Jerry
Memphis
Jerry
Mafia.
had not been up there for. Well,
Wasn't
he
he-
wasn't there when Elvis the last years that Elvis lived. He was.
Didn't he quit right after the Aspen trip because he
I
got
think
into
so.
it
I
with
think
Elvis?
I don't know. I heard a thing about the Aspen trip, but
But yeah, he
yeah,
left,
he
so.
did, and he
Yeah.
never.
And that's what, and I'm just going to say it. I don't know if y'all want to say it. I can cut it out if, but I think Elvis would be pretty dead-gum shocked to know who is in charge of his legacy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I may be wrong, and I can cut it out if
Who
y'all
is
want me
in
to.
charge?
Well, the faces of and well, Priscilla and Jerry.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
Priscilla
you look back
and
at
Jerry
everyone
Schilling.
made that's documentary or anything to do, and
the
it's Priscilla
Jerry
and Jerry.
Schilling consultant.
Yeah.
And
Consultant.
he is not of the portfolio, as he puts as his job description with Elvis, as he speaks.
I don't know that he would be shocked about Priscilla. You
For
know,
Lisa's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, that's...
I think Priscilla and Jerry were very, close, and I just think she includes him in everything. That's a lot of money made in those things.
Yeah, well, he's her right hand man, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but we'll leave that for what it is, because it is
What it
very
is.
obvious what it is. And she doesn't communicate. I get asked all the time, does Priscilla ever call you? Does she ever call the Smiths? Does
Nope.
she ever do this?
No.
And unfortunately, and I feel for her kid and grandkids and the offspring, that they don't get to know the wonderful parts of their Smith family,
Yeah.
you know, and the loyalty that you all have shown for Elvis. And
Well, it's almost like they don't want them to know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're not classy enough, or what do you want to call it? We're just people, and we don't put
I
on
think
airs,
it's a control factor.
or try to be something we're not.
I really do. I think it's a control factor, and they're afraid that
Yeah.
the real control,
Yeah.
as it would need to be if you were going to tell the honest to God, bare bones truth. There they go again. Maybe I ought to grab the tail of that one, huh?
Yeah. Not tooting his horn, but
why not?
there's just
I
not
do
too
too.
much.
He's
that
got
you
a
can-
horn to toot.
Yeah, toot. But there's not too much that about Elvis that Billy couldn't
I
couldn't
know.
tell
Well,
you.
yeah, you
I
too.
mean, yeah,
y'all
me
were
too.
there.
Yeah,
But like you say, especially Billy, because Billy was
from
in the
Tupelo
end,
all the way
from the beginning all the way to the
to
end.
the end.
And even when he wasn't on salary, like Daddy, they were all
Always
up
there.
when they could be there.
Right.
So, but anyway, so we'll get back to some lively type talk here, I guess. So, as far as your life with Elvis, Joe, I know yours changed, as did Mama's. When Linda Thompson kind of came around, she brought out a side of Elvis that was more playful, more approachable.
Yeah.
And she was immediately, welcomed into the fold, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I know Mama became a lot closer to Elvis, and I'm sure you did too.
I did. Elvis kind of, in a way, mellowed out more in the later years. In the early years, Elvis was, I don't mean this in a bad way, but Elvis was selfish about, it was just all about Elvis.
Right.
And which,
He had a lot
you
of
can
growing up to
understand
do,
because
too.
he paid
Yeah.
the salaries of the guys that work for him, and
Yeah.
it's just like with any company, you have to do what they,
Right.
rules and regulations. But in the later years, there wasn't any place I didn't go that they went. It might have just been the guys and Billy, but I got to go everywhere they went. It's just like he accepted me, and I didn't feel as I felt closer to
yeah,
him.
you didn't have the resentment
No.
and the
No.
frustration built
I know
up at
when
that
he
point.
asked us to move to Graceland in the double wide trailer up there. I never asked Elvis for one thing in my whole life except not to try to take Billy away from me again. And he said, "Bring the Bible out, get it out here." And he swore on my Bible he would never ever try to do that. He just wanted us to be up there. And the very next day, he had a trip planned for Nashville. And I said, Billy said, "Nope. You said you weren't going to do that." And he said, "We're just going up there and right back." So they did, and back. So
Yeah. Well, speaking of Bible, when it came to the special gifts that the guys and the families and everybody gave to Elvis on special occasions, the Tree of Life, and that there was a Bible and a statue of Jesus in the meditation garden. Was that something that everybody would like kick around and
all the guys would get together? Usually Marty would think of something, good.
Yeah.
And Joe then
Marty's one that
came up with
came
that.
up with the Tree
most
of
of
Life.
the Tree of Life.
I
But
didn't know if it was a group thing.
Marty
No,
would he would
kind of
kick it around with all the guys.
Yeah,
and,
we all knew about it.
See what
Yeah.
everybody thought,
see what,
and then
but
everybody
it was
put
such
their
a
money
good
in
thing,
to do it, and
A question I get a lot is, were like on birthdays and Christmas, but honest to goodness, other than Christmas Eve, I can never, and it was Christmas morning by the time we'd leave, but,
yeah.
I can't remember anything about any birthdays.
Yeah, I can. Usually because right after his birthday, he was leaving. So, they would leave, but he would always, mostly, as long as I can remember, he always was in Memphis for his birthday because it was so close right after New Year's and Christmas.
Yeah.
I can remember getting him birthday presents, and you'd think, what in the world do you get for somebody for Christmas or for his birthday, somebody like Elvis? Well, the last Christmas, Billy and I got him a Lazy Boy lounger because the one he had was broken he kept it in Lisa's room, and when he would crank back,
that's why he went in Lisa's room.
yeah,
so
he'd go
much
in
to-
Lisa's room
like
and
a
sit,
lounge.
and sit and talk, and the ice machine was in there, and he'd bless the ice machine out, but
blasted out.
blasted out. One time he shot it.
Really, he shot that?
Yeah,
too,
because
huh?
he
Man, the
was
list is
talking, and
getting
every
long.
every time he started to keep telling what he was telling, it would go and drop ice, and he'd go, one more time.
SOB or something.
And so finally it did it, and he said, "Pow!"
Oh my God! Did y'all ever just like hit the floor or wet your pants or anything when he started shooting?
I remember when he, somebody put their own self in this, and he wasn't even there.
I usually had to
About
change
the
clothes.
Pantera, about when he
Completely.
shot the Pantera.
Yeah.
Well, the person that told that story actually wasn't him up there, but Billy, Elvis had given us a new Lincoln, and we had pulled it up because we were all going to the movie, and Elvis wanted to go in the Pantera. Well,
Him and Linda was going to
him and Linda was
Pantera.
going to. Well, what happened? Why he got so mad is they couldn't find the keys, and Billy had told all the guys, leave the keys on the board that's hanging up because you don't know which one he wants, and when he wants it right now. He don't want to wait. Well, Delta had moved the keys because she was so scared somebody was going to ride in one of them. You know how Delta was.
Yeah.
And so he wanted the keys, and they couldn't find them. So what was it when he got the keys and it wouldn't crank?
Wouldn't crank.
Oh my God! I
So
didn't-
Billy said.
Start,
So Billy says, "Wait a minute," because he
No,
pulled
he
his
got
gun.
out
He
and
said,
told
"Stand
Linda to
back."
get out.
Yeah.
Linda got out and came around the other
Bless
side.
her heart. Linda was kind of close to a few bullets.
Yeah.
wasn't she?
But Billy said, "Wait a minute." He said. Elvis said, "For what?" And Billy said, "I want to move my new car." He said, "I'll blow that car up too." But he did. He shot the Pantera.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
But I mean, that was just Elvis.
yeah, he didn't mean nothing by it.
No.
It's just that was
Just-
the
it was
quickest
just,
way to punish something for
Yeah.
being stupid.
shoot it.
Usually, if something was bothering him,
Mhm.
Yeah.
at the time,
Mhm.
a lot of times that would be the reaction. See,
Yeah.
just take it out on
Something
something
else.
else
Some
rather
object,
than
displaced aggression
Uh,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it out on anything or any person
Well,
until he got mad enough. And then he didn't care.
he didn't care after he got mad, huh?
I remember we were talking about Patsy and Marty. We rode with Patsy and Marty to the 10 most outstanding men of the year awards.
JC's awards.
And what restaurant did we go to? Was it Four Flames or?
It probably was. That was a favorite of Daddy's.
Yeah,
one
I
after
can't
the
remember
movie.
what-
Flames, I think it
But
was.
anyway, they had it all all set up and fixed and everything. And on the way there, Patsy and I had this little lingo that we did, and most people didn't understand. And Linda got into it too.
Yeah.
Linda, me, and Patsy. And
it's almost like a pigeon language.
yeah, but most people didn't understand it because we'd go to a restaurant and we'd sit there and we'd go, oh, I think I want some, let me see, some tacos or something like that.
Or
You know,
some
some
hot dogs.
yeah.
Or
And
hamburgers.
we had been talking about it on the way.
Black
Yeah.
eyed peas.
Black
Yeah.
eyed peas.
So Marty
pickle
said,
beans.
y'all please do not start that when we get there.
It was, needless to say, it was deep, deep backwoods country.
Yeah, and Patsy said, we'll do what we want to do. And he knew she would. And Billy said, no, don't start that. He said, really, this is not the time. So we said, okay. But we got in there and they had our name tags and everything. And me and Patsy were sitting there. We couldn't stand it. And if I looked at her, we would start laughing because I knew what she was going to do. And she was looking all around and she said, I wonder what's on this menu. And Marty said, oh, well, it's going to be this, that, something really elegant.
Yeah.
And Patsy said, you mean they don't have any Great Northern beans and cornbread? And I said, fried cabbage and black-eyed peas. And Marty said, oh, God. He said, I don't start it, Patsy. Now, I mean it.
Well, see, I understand how Daddy felt because when y'all used to take us shopping,
I know what you're going to say.
It would be, oh, well, are we going to get home without all of us being arrested and us going to little people jail because our parents are in a cell or something?
A net over our head
Yeah.
and carried off to the home
And
for the silly.
I'll let Joe tell you one that this was long after Elvis.
I think I told this on one of our videos.
Did you? About the grocery store?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
but
Yeah, I
that's
used to
before
have the
Elvis
clothes
passed
rack.
away.
Was it?
Oh yeah, that was what, because remember that was the Kroger up there in the plaza, the Whitehaven Plaza.
Oh, okay.
And we had just gone over there.
Yeah, I'm old. I can't remember.
Yeah, but we had gone over there, and for Patsy and me, we just could know what each other was thinking, and if I said something and it made no sense to anybody else, she just picked right up on it and went along like it was a natural thing, and I did the same for her.
Yeah.
So we were in the grocery store and we wanted to embarrass Sherry. So Sherry was walking along. She was a teenager, a young teenager. You were probably about what, 12, 13, something
14,
like that.
15.
And we went around the corner and I said, oh, they don't have whatever brand of whatever it is I wanted.
I think
Patsy,
it was tomato sauce.
it was something.
Yeah.
And Patsy said, they don't have it? I can't believe they don't have the kind you wanted. She said, they were supposed to always keep that in here. And I said, I know it. I said, they don't have it, Patsy. They don't have it. So I fell out on the floor.
Yep.
And I
Straight on her back.
I started kicking, and Patsy was going, it'll be okay. We'll tell them to special order.
She's
it's
not
okay.
lying, y'all.
And
we couldn't even
we
make
didn't know
this
the
up.
manager was on the other side of the aisle,
Mm-hmm.
and he stepped around. And I'm like, ah. But I had to keep
You just
on.
kept going
I
with
kept
it, though.
going with it. And he said, is there a problem? Can I help? And Patsy said, oh, it's okay. She said, she's just so upset because you normally have the brand she wants and you don't have it. And he said, well, what is it? And Patsy told him, I said, I want it now. and Sherry cut out running out the front door.
Oh, God. I think that's why I'm white-headed now, because y'all...
And out the door, Patsy had her arm around me. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that was...
We just did crazy stuff. I mean, you had to be crazy to live in a group like that.
Yeah, and then, of course, after years of certain things, it advanced on, and it was still fun between the families and stuff like that, but the lifestyle started to get
changed.
rough. The lifestyle changed.
Yeah.
And, Elvis didn't, as she mentioned earlier, didn't want some people around. He just wanted, I guess, y'all know the reason why, probably more than anybody. But
He just, I don't know, he just kind of withdrew, and he was kind of
ready to be quiet
having problems with girlfriend.
Yeah.
and he didn't. I mean, he wasn't happy with the way things were going, and so he did. He just said, you know, I don't want. Of course, it made it harder because it was like 24/7, you know, for Billy and sometimes me, but he didn't. He didn't allow George up. He didn't allow any of them up, and the guys that stayed in California, you know, that was fine with him. He didn't want them around.
Yeah, and didn't they just come in and stay at the hotel right before to get ready for the tour?
They came in like
stuff?
Lamar. They came in right
Yeah.
before the tour started, and like Ricky and David and I'm trying to think of Ricky and David were there. Billy Stanley wasn't there. He didn't work for Elvis for years before that. I don't. But
yeah, I remember he disappeared
yeah,
pretty early
he
on.
disappeared a long time before. But I'm trying to think. Al and Dean and
Sam.
Steve Smith. He worked for a short
Yeah,
time.
I never got to meet
Yeah,
Steve Smith.
he was real nice. A friend of Dean's.
Yeah.
But when they were up there, Billy would tell them, you know what, because he wanted Billy to make a schedule, but for them to stay downstairs unless he called them.
One person.
One person there all
One
the
person
time. Only
and
one
all
person
they-
at all
they,
times.
You know, one with 12 hours on.
Like
12
shift
hours.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And time you got through the guys, so you know they had plenty of time off. You know,
Yeah.
you're talking about.
So you're looking at almost 2 days in between, or a day and a
Right.
half in between if it was
They
12
get
hours.
plenty of time off.
But that's
you
the
know,
way. That's the way it went.
But you
Not all.
didn't. But you know, you wanted, I'm sure, to be around him, you know, as much as you could. I mean, I'm sure
Oh, yeah,
y'all would have
yeah.
loved
Yeah, we
more off time. So
we
to speak,
spent a lot of time
Well, I
up
told
in his
him when-
room with him.
with
Billy told him, you know, yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
he
and-
wanted to, you know, he wanted to have his privacy, and that's another story. But
Yeah.
anyway, he didn't want, you know, just a lot of people at the house. And you know, the more I thought about it too, I thought, you know, it is kind of ridiculous. You know, you got this big house and you got to stay in your room. I
Yeah.
cleared the house, you know, and that's the way it was. If he wanted them, he could, you know, get them on the intercom downstairs. Otherwise, you know,
Just let
stay
him
down
be.
there and
Yeah.
watch TV or
Yeah.
whatever. You know.
Yeah, I'm
I
surprised
mean,
it
they
didn't
could
happen.
come up. You don't misunderstand me, but if he wanted to come down and sit in the den or wherever,
Yeah,
without, you know, a lot of people around him.
yeah. We're
It
all
was the
like
same way
that.
with me.
Yeah,
you know,
we
I told
are.
him, I said, you know, same way with me. I said, you know, if you need me, you can call me, you know, out there or whatever, you know, I'll be. He said, no, he said, when I get up, I want you here.
Yeah.
And so
Yep, so,
that's the way that turned out. You know,
Yeah.
that's the way it was, you know.
yeah.
And then a lot of times I just stayed out there because
Yeah.
I know one time we stayed in Lisa's room. He wanted to stay out at Graceland with him. We stayed in Lisa's room, and I didn't realize, but he had a camera that was aimed toward her bed. And I was like, you know, and I happened to look up, and I saw that camera, and I said, "Oh me!" I told Billy, I said, "Is that a live camera?" And Billy said, "I don't know." So I got a towel, and I put over the camera. Not that, you know,
Yeah, but you want to be able to
Yeah.
like scratch your
and so
parts
I
or,
went to
you
get
know,
up the next morning. We went to get up, and I started to open the door, and I said, "We're locked in." But the camera had
Oh, it
Held it
fallen
down.
down and wedged the door. I said,
You
"We're
thought
locked
he had
in."
locked y'all in to punish you for putting the towel up.
But I know I was. You never knew about what Elvis. I'd go in the bathroom in Lisa's room, and I turned off the light when I would go to the bathroom.
Yeah, so
You know, you just
don't
didn't-
know what he might have had infrared
No.
in there, Joe. You never know.
No, he would have. I mean, you know,
Yeah. Well,
he would have never done something like that. But you know, I was just.
I know you were talking earlier about girl trouble and all that stuff. And one of the other things that gets brought up a lot is the Alicia Kerwin situation. And a lot of people get confused because, bless her heart, she obviously had an addiction problem because later on.
Later on.
Yeah, and that's when she did a testimony for a court
Yeah.
thing, and she denied everything. But that, to me, in my opinion, is because she had to in order to get through that trial situation.
Well, when we first met Alicia, she came out to Graceland. Actually, I'm the one that met her first and took her upstairs to meet Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought she was just really great, you know. And that was at the time he was, you know, going with Ginger too.
Mm-hmm.
But Alicia came out, and she was a bank teller in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And he liked her, you know, and it was no big, huge romance because she was not there for that long.
Mm-hmm.
But she went to Palm Springs with us, and she went to Las Vegas with us.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that was the first time she had been to Las Vegas when we went. I know Elvis gave me some money and asked if I would go down and help her pick out something to wear for that night, for some people were coming up to his room.
Mm-hmm.
So we did.
So
And-
Elvis asked that she be there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he asked her to go to Vegas and to Palm Springs with us.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, while we were, was it Palm Springs he bought her the
Yeah.
Cadillac? When we were in Palm Springs, he bought her a new Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
And had, I think it was Mike and Earl that worked at Graceland to come out and get it and bring it back to Memphis.
Yeah.
And but I can remember her being at Palm Springs because we were in there talking with them. You know, they were, you know.
Was this like 75, 76, or 77? That had to be 77.
77. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And I don't know how, I know Alicia had no kind of problems then because I don't even think she drank or anything.
Yeah, and it's weird that she ended up dying.
And yeah,
from an
well,
overdose.
she moved to Las Vegas and became a dealer
Yeah.
at one of the. That's what I heard.
Yeah, sometimes that'll
And after
get the
that,
better
we
of
lost
you.
her.
Then after that, we lost contact with her.
Well, is there anything that you as a wife would like everyone to know about being a wife in the...
Yeah, choose your words carefully.
Well, you know, the only thing I can say is a lot of times we're surprised that we're still together, but in a way we're not, because we've always been soulmates. And if you know, if you care about somebody, you have to go through the thick and the thin, and not just, you know. And Billy always provided for me. I was fortunate. I never had to get a job in my whole life. I guess I was spoiled, but not that we had a whole lot of anything. We just
But you had a happy...
we had a
content
happy.
life.
I've had a great life. I've had a happy life. I had, you know, we had our kids, our grandkids, and now our great grandkids, and it's you know, I think back over things, and sometimes I believe I have a lot of times I think maybe I have post-traumatic stress syndrome.
I know Mama did.
Because of all that.
Yeah, I know
because
Mama did.
I can never, I don't ever let it go.
Yeah.
It's always there, and it's always there with me. But
And
I mean,
it's a
that's
constant fight, isn't it? And
Yeah.
the good against the bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the past though,
Yeah.
and but I know to this day I don't like to see a movie with somebody going on a trip away from their
Saying goodbye.
spouse or their family. I don't believe in separate vacations. I just think it's too short. Time's too short. And one thing too, it's like what me and Billy talked about. We were so young that we had a lot of growing up to do, and we finally did.
Yeah,
We grew up.
together.
And,
We did?
Yeah.
Billy didn't. He's
Yeah,
just
he's still,
fooling
I
you.
still
he's still
know
Well,
kid.
Billy is a Memphis Mafia wife's husband.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
Not a damn.
You know when to cut and
I
run,
got
don't you,
to
brother?
close my mouth, because anything I say
We'll
be
be
brought
used
up
against you
until I would leave here. I
Well,
mean, you know, dead.
in
No, it won't.
perpetuity.
She don't forget nothing, and she
I
don't
know.
bring stuff up. And
I know.
I can't remember a lot of times. So.
I'll go.
Well, as a couple, is there anything about your life with Elvis that you haven't said or talked about that you'd like to do now? No?
Well, you know, it was a great life
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. It was a hard life. It wasn't always easy, but you know, nobody else's life is easy either. being with Elvis or not being with Elvis. He gave us a lot of opportunities. He did so much for us. We went so many places and saw so many things that I would have never ever in my whole lifetime have imagined. But I don't have any complaints at all. And the people that we were close to, like your mama, I mean, I would have never known her had it not been for that. So
yeah, and look now how many people, like with these groups that we're talking to now, look how many new generations are coming along, and that's what I think all of us are doing this for, is to make sure that people know the real story.
and that's, I'm glad you said that, because I'm gonna tell you, I don't care who, what, where. I'm not gonna lie for anybody to put, prop up their story.
Right.
If it's not true, and I won't say it, and if I don't know it, I'll say I don't know.
Right.
I'm not gonna make up something and tell it.
Right.
That's just, to me, that's just, I mean, we had enough time with him that the things we don't know every single thing about him,
Right.
like nobody does.
Right.
But we had enough time that we know him pretty damn good.
Oh, I knew him like the back of my hand.
Until he changed his mind, huh?
Yeah.
Say something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Step in, Angie.
I just want to say, and I'm going to try to do this without
Crying.
busting a tear, that had it not been for Elvis in that world, you wouldn't have been such a good friend to my mama and you to my daddy.
Yep.
And to us, you have, on behalf of Sherry and Mark, y'all have been our second family for a long time. And we
Thank
will
you.
always cherish and love you.
Well, we
Well,
love y'all.
we'll always love you. I mean, Patsy was
And-
like more than a sister to me, and Marty. I'm the only one that could talk Marty into anything.
Yep, a lot of things on my behalf.
I have talked him into even playing Uno.
That was a miracle. And you also you came to the hospital and talked his stubborn self into taking care of himself the way he needed to do.
Yep.
So, and I too,
Yeah, I
that's
got
just
to
icing
admire
on top
that
of
man
it.
for that, especially because what he was going through, and he was worried and concerned about me. More than he
Yeah.
was himself.
Oh, yeah.
Destroyed,
He did,
yeah.
He said, "Not my Billy, not my Billy."
Everybody, we've had differences. I never had a cross word with Patsy, but I've been in arguments with Marty.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
and probably daily. Everybody
But
has.
but
Look, I'm gonna say this too. Me and Sherry and Mark and Danny and Joey, but we're like siblings. It happens.
it happens.
It does.
It just
It
happens.
happens.
I just hit her earlier before we started filming. So, no, I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean,
but
that's
that
just
doesn't
life.
change feelings.
That's
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I miss my Patsy Lack. I call her Pat Lack,
Yeah.
and I miss going over to her house and putting her makeup on for her.
Yeah.
I always did
Yeah, I
that
won't
for
say
her.
what y'all were doing in the bathroom with the dictionary.
Yes.
Okay, you go sit down now.
And you and Miss Beasley were playing. We were putting on makeup.
Well, Joe, Billy, my second parents, I can't thank you enough for doing this, spending time with us, and just, laying your heart out there about everything.
Well-
And I wish y'all well and many, many more years.
And the same to
And-
you and Angie and more.
And for all Elvis fans out there, we just got another YouTube on there. Memphis Mafia, right?
Memphis
Official.
Mafia by Sherry Lack.
Yes.
Sherry like it. So,
Watch
it'd
it,
be-
subscribe,
there'd be
because
some
she's
more
got a lot of
good
stuff.
Elvis stories and
Yep.
different things talked about. And subscribe to it, and bring it along.
And
We'll
everybody,
we'll have a lot of Elvis stuff out there. 'cause,
and we may do
we-
some more things in tandem together. You never know.
never
Yeah, you
so
never know.
Just
And let
the
me
more
just say
the
this
better.
too. Love. We don't know how much longer we have here.
I can
And
attest.
so, everybody be safe and love each other.
Absolutely. Amen, sister.
Okay, yeah.
Love y'all.
Love you
Love
too.
y'all.